India X stands for these things. India X stands as, it's not just a travel company, it's not just a trekking company. It's building a culture, it's building a community of it. So as a part of this company now, if you talk about how to build a community, right? What goes behind it? What kind of processes are set into it? We'll discuss about that. And how to find this, if I am outside of this ecosystem, how do I find this right community? How do I know something like India Hikes exists or this kind of community exists within India Hikes? So first, let's talk about building this kind of ecosystem and building this like kind of community.
Correct. So, like how trekking started was a problem, like which was there a decade back when there was not anything people knew about trekking. So, just working on that problem solving, I think, has brought us over here where we are today. Where you say, things are so smooth and so streamlined. It didn't happen like in a day or something. It like a lot of that's why the feedback is very important. Whenever a person says, these things are the problem. So we want that feedback because that helps us understand. Okay, now what can we do next? How can we get this better? And a lot of the team members who are there, they come from different aspects of life. People have left dentistry and they've become a trek leader. People have left fashion designing and they've become a trek leader. People have left a lot of prestigious jobs because they feel strongly about the outdoors. And if I have to talk about India X, why people, like if they had an option, like let's say this, why did they only choose India X? I'll tell about that, because why I did, I can tell about it. And I know what I've heard from other people is about India Hikes. Like India X focuses a lot on value, right? Our values are something that we really like I don't want to pinpoint, but coming from different organization, and we sometimes we don't know what the company stands for, right? All companies, they have their own visions. All companies have their own values, but hardly many employees know what their company stands for, or what is their vision, or what is their value. Over here, what I've seen is everyone at India X know what the values are when you have to do trekking, and what is the vision of the organization. So I think when you focus a lot more on the values, right, you can get those right kind of people or right set of people to be working with you. Or when you say you want to make a community, if you want a certain set of community, right, you need to have that right right mindset of people who thinks the same as you think, right? If Vinay thinks like building a podcast can help influence a lot of younger minds to take understand a lot of things that can help them grow in their career. And when you talk to other people, and even they resonate with your values or with your vision. Okay, yes, Vinay, what Vinay thinks, even I want to be a part of this. And when you see, like even he has that same vision of what you want to do. And but the values are also very important, right? Now the values, like whatever values you stand for, but if that person who's your, like whoever, he doesn't stand with your values, then there can be conflicts. So it's very important that you, when you know what you want, and then you try to build that around your vision and value. So at India Hikes, because my interview was not more asking about my skill set, as in I come from finance background, and getting like I had a lot of not thoughts in my mind, because I come from a finance background. How can I take 20 people on in the mountains where I've hardly seen mountains, right? But when I spoke to my HR, or when I spoke to a founder, my founder took the final interview. He didn't ask me anything about mountains, or how you're going to do that, how you're going to do this. He just asked me about like when you also write the cover letter, it's very simple things, like the some of the value is humility, right? One of our values is humility, like be humble. Now why being humble is important is very important to understand. And how do you do it in your daily life? Like when you were working in your past organization, what were the challenges? And because if a person is humble, if a person is humble enough, he will try to learn more things, and you can teach that person, right? But if a person is already coming with I've done Everest, I've done K2, I've done Kanchenjunga, and he's like, you all don't know anything. And so when you cut your mindset in a way that you know everything and there's nothing more you can learn, then that's why you do not have that humility as a quality in you. And
Right.
like our founder, he believes strongly, if a person is humble, he can learn a lot, because there will be problems, and there will be problems that you might not anticipate, but only if you're humble enough to see it in that way, you can solve problems. But for that, you need that amount of people, right? So that questions were asked to me. Then question was asked, like one of the other value that we have is sustainability, right? Now why sustainability is important, like how do you practice it in your city life? Now, sustainability is something I really, felt like is the one of the major problems, not just in the mountains, but in the cities also. Because from where I come, have seen a lot of dumping grounds where the kids are playing, and it's not a place to be. No one wants to climb that mountain of litter, right?
Right.
And sustainability is something that is very important in today's world. If we want people to come on a trek, we want to enjoy. Banning is just not an option. Maybe an alternative way of how you trek can be in a way where even if people are coming but they're just having a as low minimal impact on the mountains as possible. So how do you make that? You said more guidelines. So how we have we have this eco bag where we just pick up all that visible litter which is there on the trail. We do not generate any kind of waste. Like I asked my trekkers, if they've bought any packaged food, you better keep it in the cloak room, because we are going to serve you everything that is there. We are going to serve you all the best food that you might not even possibly think that you can get in the outdoors. So we are all working on that. So you do not need to carry any packaged food. So if you do that, and if you just at least do that, then you're not becoming a part of the problem. You're becoming a part of the solution. So having sustainability, but the trek leader can only advise the trekkers if he feels strongly about it. And if I don't feel strongly about sustainability, I'm not going to talk about sustainability a lot. And if I don't do it, people won't understand why it is important in the mountain. So that is one of our core value: ki be sustainable. So even in practices like we have in the office, like we have our own composting pit, and we have here also, and we have a lot of more practices that we are having, on, like if you have come a year back, you'll see a separate water contraption where how we wash our vessels, and now it is changed. And maybe in the future it will again change. So we have a separate head for green trails who just looks at those things are done or not on the trek. And I think having all these things can really help you understand your values. And if you align with the values, then you can build that community, right? If I value a lot on teaching people by doing things, and if other person also has that same vision, and he also believes that person has to be humble, person has to be this for this kind of role, and if your values and vision align, then that community can be formed. And I think when a person is looking to do something, they should look on their vision and value for why they are doing it, and then find the right mind of people to get it for them. So I
Right.
think Arjun sir has done well on that, and he's got people who are really passionate about the outdoors, and they align with the vision, and we align with the vision and values that the company, that the organization stands for.
Right. Yeah. So I think the core of the entire thing of building a community is have very strong values and find people who believe in those values and have a rationale behind why you have those values. You can't just say, I have a random value and a random vision, and you can't expect people to follow you. So if you have a rationale and you have values, then it's when you align everything, then that's how you build a community. And yeah, I strongly feel like, the culture and the values and the
Hmm.
kind of India X is built. I've seen uh, it always surprises me that a trekker who has joined 10 months back or a year back to an organization feels so strongly about sustainability. It doesn't happen overnight unless you didn't have those thoughts behind. Now we've got a right platform to practice those, but if you didn't believe in sustainability so much, even before joining IndiaX, you wouldn't align with that vision in the first place. So your values, self values, and then aligning them with company is what builds that tight knit community that IndiaX is building.